Good afternoon and welcome to our seminar today, Bone Content Analysis and its Influence on Mechanically Separated Product Yield. I'm your moderator, Michelle, and Devin Darrell, Senior Process Product Specialist for CEM, will be our presenter today. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the seminar, so please feel free to send in your questions via the question panel at any time during our presentation. Thank you for joining us today, Devin.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for having me today.
What can you tell us about bone content analysis?
All right. Well, first I'd like to start off. I'd like to welcome everybody to this brief webinar about bone content analysis. Thanks for taking the time to join us. As Michelle said, my name is Devin Darrell. I'm the product specialist for the process control branch of CEM Corporation. Throughout this webinar, I will discuss the purpose of bone content analysis, both from the perspective of regulation and economics, followed by an overview of the available products on the market for bone analysis. So to begin, we know that any and all meat and poultry processing facilities are constantly faced with this challenge of maximizing the yield from your incoming animal products while staying within the USDA guidelines and still trying to maintain cost efficiency for that higher gross profit margin. Analyzing bone content and mechanically separated products is no different. As you know, the USDA currently has a guideline of less than 1% bone in all outgoing product, and as a processor, you are tempted to get as close as possible to the standard without going over. We know that if the spec trends just a little bit over 1%, you can believe that a possible audit will be well on its way shortly. So due to this predicament of trying to avoid going over that 1%, most facilities, they lower their pressure to allow a lower but safer number of about 0.7 to 0.8% bone content. So in order to increase the yields, an at-line test must be found that is not only quick enough so that real-time feedback can be shown to operators if the pressure needs to be adjusted or screens need to be replaced, but accurate and trustworthy so that you can be sure that these results are reliable. Only then can you generate a product that's closer to the 1% spec, increasing the product yield per animal, which leads to a lower cost margin. So at this time, there are a few different options for bone content analysis available to your processing facilities. They range in age on the market, time per test, the type of chemistry used, but all of them aim for a final product analysis of bone, sometimes shown in the form of calcium within the sample. The current standard AOAC test of reference is USDA SOP number CLG-CAL 2.00. We commonly title this calcium ICP method determination. This process relies on the solubilization of calcium into a calcium ion using acid digestion. But like any acid digestion process, a number of hazardous solvents, including but not limited to hydrochloric acid and nitric acid, as well as heat, typically with a hot plate, must be used. This not only creates a dangerous lab environment for the technicians running the test, but it also creates a costly operation, as a large-scale ICP, digestion plate, stirrer, chemicals, and all of the proper filtration papers are needed for every single analysis. And mostly due to this exhausting sample prep process of digestion, it's a long test, taking sometimes up to an hour for one single sample to be run. A similar process is the titration method, with the EDTA currently being the most widely used due to its shorter analysis time as compared to the, say, the Versine method. Using a mix of EDTA, hydrochloric acid, calcium carbonate, and hydroxynaphthol blue indicator, a user can more efficiently determine the hydrolyzed calcium items in the sample. However, this process is a very user-dependent titration, so human error always has the option of skewing results. I know I, for one, am not patient enough user to get the correct measurement every time. I know the technicians out there might be the exact same situation. The 20 minutes this test takes is quick enough to make efficient in-process changes to the product, but as I said earlier, the results, which then must be back calculated after the test is complete, are not nearly reliable enough to get close to the 1% mark we are shooting for. This is also the test of for many third-party laboratories, as it is a process that requires lower technical abilities and cheap testing costs. But sending to an outside laboratory can take up to a week, if not more, for results, meaning corrective changes can't be made. And the cost of constantly using these outside labs builds up pretty quickly over time. We've had customers reporting up to $55 for every sample they had to send out. So one rapid online measurement that we've seen find its place in some laboratories is the use of near-infrared technology. These systems can typically give a result in about 10 seconds and can determine many different parameters from moisture, fat, protein, pH, salt, and bone content. However, many of the labs I've spoken with have two main concerns with this technology. First, because there is no direct measurement actually taken, everything is completely based off of calibrations. This leads to costly and very time-consuming recalibration processes anytime there's any type of change in the sample itself. Second, it is difficult to determine how accurate the system is. As I said, any small changes in products can skew results, and drift in results over time have been reported. And again, this has to lead back into the recalibration process that you have to go into, requiring 50 to 100 samples and many more high costs. So here at CEM, we've been able to develop a system called the Phoenix Bone Content Analyzer that can provide a rapid and accurate determination of the bone content of a sample, and without using any types of hazardous chemicals or any types of recalibrations. The Phoenix is a sophisticated muffle furnace that contains software which automatically calculates bone content. It can be coupled with a ProFat meat analyzer and further determine the moisture, fat, and protein of any given raw meat product. All of the results are generated in just 20 minutes, quickly enough to make adjustments to the processing line and further increase the product yield. And because only direct measurements are used, you can trust its accuracy and its repeatability. The data you now see on the screen is a testament to the fact that our system can get your product as close to USDA standards as possible without crossing that 1% line. It is a representation of the Phoenix system's accuracy as directly compared to the AOAC official method that we've discussed. You can see that the results are on average only about 0.05% off from the AOAC results and closer to 0.02% if that one outlier is removed. This data is able to become even more repeatable when the Phoenix is used along with the ProFat, as more variables in the product are measured alongside each other. Through a patented least cost formulation process, the ProFat is able to accurately determine the moisture, fat, and protein content of your sample in less than 3 minutes. Meaning when, along with the Phoenix Bone Analyzer, which has a total test time of 15 minutes, the integrated software will relay the moisture, fat, protein, and bone content of the tested sample in less than 20 minutes. Additionally, while the ProFat only runs one sample at a time, the Phoenix is able to run up to 10 samples simultaneously, meaning any 10 samples of any product type can be fully analyzed for these 4 different parameters in only 45 minutes. The Phoenix Bone Content also provides a safer laboratory as it does not use any hazardous chemicals or glassware. So one of the biggest advantages between CEM's Bone Content option and other accurate measurements is the process. For any new or even existing labs, neither the Phoenix nor the ProFat need to be placed in a fume hood, and no new hazardous waste permits need to be purchased as both avoid the use of any types of chemicals or glass materials. And since no chemicals are incorporated into the process, disposal costs can be done away with if you are replacing one of these outdated tests. Another great benefit is the internalization of data and calculations. The ProFat has an internal balance built into the system, which can be used in accordance with the Phoenix for an accurate readout of moisture, fat, protein, and bone content. CEM has also designed and patented special glass fiber sample pads which do not absorb microwave energy. Product can be applied directly to these pads for a quicker analysis and a quicker cleanup. And it's also great to see that the sample can be easily transferred from the ProFat system over to the Phoenix system using the glass fiber samples in the picture above. Meanwhile, the use of these patented crucibles that the Phoenix utilizes is they can actually cool in only seconds. I think we've seen about 4 seconds to go from the 550 degrees Celsius at which the sample is ashed at to the actual cooling time to reheat, to reweigh the samples themselves. The final benefit comes from a software option that CEM has developed called CEM Communicator. This is a program that was specifically designed to collect and store this data for future review or audits. It can be stored in any database, or it can be stored in the database that we provide, or it can be further exported as an easily viewable Excel file to be manipulated on your own computers as you please. Finally, if your company has an internal network such as a LIMS system or any other comparable management system, we can directly export the data for real-time viewing of product results. So to conclude, we have discussed the purpose of bone content analysis and how getting the right test can affect your facility's product and its bottom line. While every test has its benefit, be it the accuracy of the ICP testing, speed of the NIR, or the ease of using an outside lab, I firmly believe that the Phoenix Bone Content Analyzer is the best all-around system available. It is fast enough to make any real-time changes, accurate and repeatable enough to be considered reliable, and at a low cost per test of only around 15 cents, it's fairly cheap. So combined, this gives you as a producer the ability to make the choices that can save your facility money with the confidence to know that you're making the right call. So at this time, I'd like to thank you for your patience and your time, and I would like to field any questions that we have from the field.
Oh, wonderful, Devin. We have several questions here from our audience members who would like to know more about the least cost formulation software.
Okay, absolutely. This is the software that we primarily use with the ProFat system. What it's done is it's based off calculations that were created by Professor Robert LeBud back in the 80s. What we were able to do is there are hundreds and thousands of data points that have been taken with these systems, and we're able to go through and plug in the direct measurement that we get for the moisture to retrieve both the fat and the protein of these specific sample types. These can be used for any type of raw material, be it raw chicken, raw beef, raw fish, or any blends of the in-between. So if you have, say, a beef, pork, and lamb blend, we can absolutely bring that into the and make it work for your system.
Okay.
Michelle?
Yes, I'm sorry. Had a little technical glitch there.
No problem.
Robert would like to know if the presence of phosphate has an effect on the analysis.
It does not. A lot of the phosphate interference comes into play when you're looking at actual chemical calibrations. It comes into play when you're actually solubilizing the calcium ion. Since we're not looking at calcium, but rather doing a direct measurement for a physical determination of bone content, phosphate plays no role whatsoever in the recording of these results. So.
Okay. Can the Phoenix be used at line, or must it be used in a laboratory environment?
We can use the Phoenix at line. You can use it in a lab. It is sturdy and sustainable enough to be used in both places. We're able to do full washdowns in the general area of it. They're not on the system itself, and vibration or anything else like that does not affect the Phoenix system at all. The same with the ProFat. The ProFat system is able to be placed either at line or in a lab, though the ProFat is a little more susceptible to vibration in the area. We've been able to design patented vibration-proof feet that go on the bottom of the system to overcompensate for this situation.
Oh, good. We have a question here from Trudy, who is a CEM customer, and she'd like to know if the Phoenix will work with her ProFat system.
Yeah, absolutely. If you already have a Phoenix or a ProFat system online in your own lab, we're able to do a pretty quick software change in either of the systems to get them upgraded to the bone content analysis for both. And then you can actually, it's pretty easy to fully integrate the two. Again, with the ProFat, you only need a quick EEPROM change of the software. And from there, it's able to go through and you can fully integrate it into the determining bone contents analysis. If you currently have a Phoenix on site, you're able to go through, you'd have to purchase a ProFat to get the full analysis, but if you're looking to just do bone content analysis for the time being, again, it's just a quick software change and you'll be up and running.
Can multiple sample types be run together?
Yeah, we can absolutely run multiple different types of samples at one time. As I mentioned earlier, the Phoenix system is able to run up to 10 samples at once. So even though the ProFat system can only run one sample at one time, you're able to kind of group these together, and the Phoenix system has no care whatsoever what type of product is being run in the system itself. It will still be accurate and reliable for every product that you have across the board. So you're able to run different blends, different types of beefs, different types of chicken, different parts of the chicken, and any sample run, and it will still give you the same accurate results.
Oh, good. Also, several of our audience members have a lot of different types of crucibles, and they would like to know if you can run metal crucibles in the Phoenix.
You are able to run metal, porcelain, and any other types of crucibles in the Phoenix system. However, as I previously mentioned, the CEM crucibles have that added benefit of being able to cool quickly. This is due to their patented design and material that they're made out of. So while you are able to use it strictly for the Phoenix, if you were to use CEM crucibles, you can then integrate it into the ProFat, whereas you can't do that with a porcelain or a metal crucible, and you're able to get the results in probably close to about 10% of the time, as there typically usually is about a 20 to 40 minute cooling period where you place the samples in the desiccator after the ashing process.
The CEM crucibles are also disposable and cost-effective, aren't they?
Correct. CEM crucibles can be used for a number of different runs, but as soon as they are complete or you feel that you would like to go out and purchase new crucibles, they are fairly cheap, so you don't feel too bad about disposing of them, and you're able to go forth from there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Devin. You've certainly given us a lot of information in a short seminar, and we'd like to thank our audience members for joining us today as well. If you have any further questions for Devin or would like some more information on the Phoenix or the ProFat or any of CEM systems, please feel free to contact us at 800-726-3331, or you can contact Devin directly at devin.darrell, that's DEVIN.Darrell, DARRELL, @CEM.com.